Information on where agriculture is and where it's going to WHOW Ag listeners several times a day. From tariffs to treaties, from the Board of Trade to the running board on your truck, I cover Central Illinois agriculture every day on the Farm Gate. Hear it all on WHOW's many platforms on the radio or online. Join me, Stu Ellis, for the Farm Gate.
Your friend in Central Illinois. WHOW.
Top of the morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHOW Morning Show is streaming to Facebook and YouTube. It's brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. My guests in studio this morning are Susan Kline and Lisa Lueras with the McGill Restoration Center here in Clinton. Ladies, good morning.
Good morning.
Lisa, how are you today?
I'm good, thanks.
Thanks for coming out. And Susan, how are you?
Wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you so much for coming in today. I know I caught up with you ladies yesterday at the big Founders Day celebration here in Clinton. You were serving up some cake and lemonade. I know that was kind of a promotional thing for you ladies to get your names out, talk to folks about what you're doing. What'd you find? How did that go for you?
It went wonderfully. We were able to pass out some of our flyers and let people know who we are. We wore our T-shirts that we're selling as a fundraiser also as promotional. And it was wonderfully.
Good to hear. Good to hear. So hopefully some good awareness raised at that event.
Absolutely.
Let's, Lisa, start with you. Tell us a little bit about the McGill Restoration Center. And you and Susan came to own this building. Give us your side of that story. How did this all begin for you?
So honestly, it began with a text from Susan back in December of 2019. Out of the blue, Susan texted me because a mutual friend had given her my number. We actually have known who each other was for a very long time, but we weren't friends up to that point, so to speak. Anyway, she texted me, said she wanted to talk to me. And Susan had this yearning for bringing health and wellness to our community. She has such a love for our community and found out from a mutual friend that I like to bake. So we got together and talked, and, the Lord just took it from there. We decided we wanted to partner and work together. We talked to our husbands, and they were very supportive and said, go ahead. And, and then by June of 2020, we were meeting with the DCRA board who owned the McGill Hotel at that time. We talked to them about our vision, and they went with the idea and sold us the building.
Great.
Yeah.
So, Susan, you were kind of the catalyst to this, it sounds like.
Yeah, I really think, like Lisa said, it's a mission the Lord put on my heart. Even a couple years before that, I didn't know what it was going to look like. But I had been teaching wellness at a residency program for years and knew I wanted to continue to do that in some way, somehow in my retirement years. And really, we have lived in Clinton for now 30 years. It was really on our heart to stay here and somehow bring, all the dimensions of wellness together in some format.
How do you incorporate the McGill Hotel and wellness? How do you bring those two things together?
Well, one, we know how important the McGill Hotel is to this community.
Yes.
It's on the National Historic Registry. It's been here. This is our 150th year. And it was really on a lot of people's heart to do something with it again. And, years ago, my husband and I and my sister owned a store on the square called Country Blessings. And we used to kind of joke when we drive by the McGill and say, oh, we should buy that someday, totally not thinking that it would ever happen. But again, with the vision, and then just really reaching out to the DCRA then and saying, hey, is it still available? Is this where we can do this? Because we were going to do it. We just weren't sure where yet. And, when that came about, it was a big answer to prayer because we know how much. So community wellness, and we hope to bring all aspects in there. We already have Edward Jones, so I'm counting that as financial wellness.
There you go.
We hope to hire people from the community.
I see a yoga sign out there when I drive by. I've been wondering what that's about.
Physical wellness. Yeah, we do like holy yoga, we call it.
Sweaty yoga right now.
Okay. Yeah. Pretty warm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So without getting into like the nitty gritty of buying the place and all of those things, you walk into a space that needs a lot of work.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit about, how you assess where to take it, how you prioritize what to do. I know, if I'm not mistaken, both of you have somewhat of a background in, or at least Susan, I know your husband, I think you said, has some background in like engineering and that sort of thing. So talk a little bit about, just what you're walking into, the situation that you see when you open the door.
Well, Louis and my husband, Ken worked for Architectural Expression. So he's a mechanical engineer and did design work for HVAC and worked alongside of the architects. And they'd already actually looked at the building years ago when somebody else had planned to do something with it. But anyway, between him and Louis looking at the structural and physical things that we need to do, and Lisa and I were more into visualizing the functioning of things that we wanted to do, such as the store for locally made products and a bakery cafe that specialized in healthy types of foods, and a farm to table restaurant. Eventually we hope to do an Airbnb style place up in the hotel rooms upstairs. And when that's all up and running, we hope to do a retreat center out of that space. So, but in the midst of all that, we also have other components that we want to do. You want to speak about that, about the classes and such?
Sure, absolutely. So as you said, we walked into the building, we were like, oh my gosh, we can do so many things. And with the condition of the building, so we're limited. We do have the store open, as Susan said. And so while we're doing that, one of the things we wanted to do is bring some classes into the community. Right now we have artisans that sell at our store who are doing classes in our space, in the storefront and in the back, to share their love and skill for their art with other people.
Okay.
So we've had screen painting classes. We have done sweaty yoga in the back of the building where there's no air conditioning. So that's fun. We've done the beautiful work. It's a jewelry art class. We have acrylic pour painting classes coming up. Paper bead making classes coming up.
We also have a gathering on Wednesdays from 1 to 3. Anyone who wants to bring a handcraft, we sit around and learn from each other. Right now we've done like knitting and crochet and needlework and
Some
card
painting.
making. So
Yeah.
everybody brings their own
Yeah.
thing, and we just sit together and enjoy each other's company.
Yeah. And I feel like what you're doing is not just, it's not about, the folks in the community that would remember the McGill Hotel in its heyday and what it used to be
Right.
and those sorts of things. Like really getting, things of interest for young people at the same time.
Sure,
young adults.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sure. We hope to have something that will interest all age groups, all kinds of interests. And what we didn't realize when we started this was that we're actually bringing back functions that the building had at different times in its history.
Really?
I mean, there's been restaurants in there. There's been pharmacies and other kinds of stores. So, really a lot of the thing in the hotel, overnight rooms, things like that. So really we're kind of in a slightly different way, bringing back some of the functions that building had in the past.
How are you managing the makeover, an extreme makeover, if you will, and doing all these things at the same time? Talk a little bit about, balancing those two things.
Well, we just try hard to balance it. So it is the four of us. And we have one of the Kline's daughters working for us right now. She's our manager at our store. So, everything we do, we kind of do together. Ken and Louis, are in on all the workings of aspects. We've all done demo, but Ken and his group of wonderful volunteers have done tons of it. On the backside in the hotel part, everything has had to come back down to the studs. Everything.
We do rely a lot on volunteers, though, and have
so
had
much
some major help from volunteers.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right now, my husband has a group of about 5 or 6 retired men that have been coming mostly in the mornings during the week to help with demolition. We've got Lori Retzer, who's one of our volunteers that helps run the store at times. So, one of our logos is with the community and for the community and by the community. We really are relying on the community to help us because the four of us can't do it all on our own. But we have had lots of people that have supported us that make this happen. Like Edith Lunny yesterday had invited us. She's the one has been a great proponent of what we're doing, and really invited us to take part of Founders Day to get out there and things like that. So we really have had a lot of already in various ways people donating material items.
Yes, so many great donations.
Family heirlooms that we hope to use down the road,
Really?
etc.
Yeah, sure. Again, our guests in the studio today, Lisa Lueras and Susan Kline with the McGill Restoration Center here in Clinton. Anything, ladies, on the background of this story? Anything you missed in there you want to put out there? Interesting anecdotes or something of that nature?
Well, one, I just want to put a thank you out there for the DCRA, DeWitt County Restoration Association, who owned the building before us, because really without them taking over control of that building, it probably wouldn't be here today.
Yeah.
They were also the ones that got it on the National Historic Registry. So we're very thankful for that.
150 years, ladies.
Yeah.
Let's dive into that for a few minutes. 150 years. We're celebrating, recognizing. Well, what are we doing? How are we putting that out there?
Well, right now, we are starting a couple different fundraisers for our 150th year. We've got some flyers coming out that's going to hit around town. We're starting fundraising for our bakery, which is next. But so for the 150th, we will be having, closer to Apple and Pork Time, we'll be having tours of the building. We'll be having talks. A lot of people know the building but have not been in, or they've only been in one part. We'd really love for everyone to come out and see the building and come inside and listen to the vision, because when you're inside, you can really picture what it's going to be. And all of this is for the community. We're a nonprofit.
Right. We should talk about that on the other side of the break.
Yes, we're definitely a nonprofit. Our heart is for the building to be able to come back to life, bring jobs and community spirit, back into the downtown square.
Yeah. I want to go back to something, Lisa, you just mentioned, potential tours during Apple and Pork weekend.
Yes.
I'll bet a lot of people walk Center Street and they see that old building and wonder, what's going to happen there? What's going on there? This is a great opportunity to do that. Do you have much in terms of like concrete details on what could be happening? Apple and Pork
we
weekend?
actually have plans.
Okay. What do you have planned?
The Architectural Expressions has drawn up our plans for us. So we have them posted actually in the store if anyone wants to come and see what the big plan is. We have adjusted our plan a little bit. We wanted to bring the bakery cafe together quicker. So we've decided to go ahead and make the whole bakery cafe on the main floor, which will cut our costs for now because our kitchens were going to be in the basement. That was a big cost. But so we do have plans and we are working towards it. Both of our husbands have been very active in doing everything that they can moving forward, even while we're waiting for fundraising. We hope to plan to do a big event sometime early next year, besides what we're doing now. We believe, we're not exactly sure the date it opened. We know they were building on it in 1872.
We've read a couple different things. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
We hope to find a day that's historically significant for the building.
Okay.
And that's when we're going to plan our event.
So Apple and Pork weekend, come in and check it out if you're in the community. And
absolutely.
And I've been wondering about that. Very good. Ladies, I look at the clock. Let's take a time out here, come back with some more. Lisa, Susan, how do folks learn more about your association, what you're doing, all those efforts?
We have a big presence on Facebook,
We do.
both for the MRC, we call it. That's our abbreviation, and for Harvest Mercantile.
Okay.
We also have a website.
Which is?
The McGill Restoration Center.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. .org?
Yes.
Okay.
.org.
.org.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, sure. Very good. Ladies, let's take a time out here. Come back with some more. Lisa Lueras and Susan Kline with the McGill Restoration Center, our guests in studio. More to come with them on the WHOW Morning Show.
WHOW.
For Illinois agriculture.
Let's check the markets now on the RFD Radio Network. I'm Jim Taylor. Corn lower, beans higher, wheat trading higher at this hour. September corn 622 3/4, down 3 1/4. December corn down 4, 619 1/4. March corn 626 3/4, down 3 3/4. September beans $15 1/4, up 11 1/2. November beans up 5 3/4, 1409 3/4. January beans 1416, up 5 1/4. September wheat 758 1/2, up 5 1/4. December wheat up 4 1/4, 7 $175 and a quarter. September bean meal $458.60 up $9.90. September bean oil down 47 cents, $67.43. In the livestock market, August feeders $180.165 up 15 cents. August live cattle $141.05. That's down 55 cents. October lean hogs $92.72 down 40 cents. In the energy market, September crude oil down $3.77, $87 even. Jim Taylor, RF.
MR Systems Wireless is your local internet provider for Clinton and surrounding area. They have the products you want and the local service you deserve. MR Systems Wireless Internet service for home or business includes unlimited data, unlimited streaming, and unlimited calling. Plans start at just $48 a month. And get a free Roku 4 lease with our media packages. Get the speed you need with MR Systems Wireless. Call them at 935-2100. That's 935-2100 for MR Systems Wireless.
DeWittDailyNews.com is the area's leading local news source 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Get the latest local news, obituaries, police blotter, weather forecast, and more with no paywall. Head to DeWittDailyNews.com to get the local information you need to know.
For the latest in Central Illinois agricultural news, visit IllinoisFarmRadio.com. Get updated information on markets, weather, ag news, local interviews with NAFB farm broadcaster Jared White, and much, much more. All at IllinoisFarmRadio.com.
Your friend in Central Illinois, WHOW.
Once again, good morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. My guests in studio today, Lisa Lueras and Susan Kline with the McGill Restoration Center. We were talking in the break, ladies, about the component of this being a nonprofit. I know we left off with that a little bit at the end there. Why was it important for this to be a nonprofit and not a business? How about that distinction?
Sure. Well, we talked about how, the four of us on the board are not, getting any income from this. This is something that we feel is a ministry and is something we want to do for our community from our heart. We also want this to go on when we're done. When our part has been done, we want it to continue. So by it not being owned by private people, we do believe that as the community puts more and more of their efforts into it, it will be something that the community will want to continue when we're done.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it was extremely important for us for it to be nonprofit, so that it was understood from the beginning that what we're doing isn't for us; it is for the community.
And you mentioned, when you step aside and hand this off, it continues.
Yes.
If it was a business, you would have to, find a buyer, sell it.
Right.
Maybe there's some turnover or change there.
Exactly.
This kind of keeps that vision sustainable. It feels like.
Yeah. It does.
We hope so.
And that is our dream. We didn't start this for us. None of us are in our 20s.
Right.
So
right.
we won't be here forever, but we want the McGill Restoration to be here forever and to keep bringing people into our community and strengthening our community, with the jobs and, all the aspects of wellness that we're trying to bring to the forefront.
Sure.
Plus it allows us to write grants, that would help us further the vision. So it was really important for it to be a nonprofit.
How about the grant opportunities that have come out of this?
Well, we did receive the Rev grant.
We did.
I think it was a couple years ago, and that really was able to kickstart us and pay for some business things that we needed to get the store started. So actually, Lisa and I thought we were going to start with a bakery cafe because actually, in my experience, healthy eating is probably the hardest thing for people to do in our society. And so Lisa and I had it on our heart to start with a bakery cafe that would serve whole fresh foods and locally produced organic grains, which we do sell in our store. But we the space opened up after the windmill company moved out of that space, and so we realized we needed to quickly turn that over. We knew we wanted a store for locally made products and for artisans in our area to be able to sell their goods. And so we quickly were able to renovate that into a space that we could have the store running.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So do you guys own those two pieces of property?
It's all part of
the whole building.
Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yes.
Edward Jones is there, Bryce,
Mhm.
and so he will be there indefinitely, and then the store, and then each section of the building has different functions or business. I guess you'd say kind of businesses that are going to
Businesses.
run out of the nonprofit.
You know, I need to come down and
We're
see
a
it
hub.
sometime, so I
Yes,
can like,
please.
if I can visualize it, I
Yeah.
feel like I could speak
Yeah.
better about
Absolutely.
it.
Yeah.
And that's the thing with everyone,
Mhm.
because as we start talking, there's so many components to everything. But to be in the space, not only do you understand that, but you see how well everything works together
Mhm.
so that it is one big booming place of
Mhm.
business for the community.
It's its own organism.
Sure.
Absolutely.
And we love to give tours. So if there's
I
more
was
than,
just going to ask.
there's more than two of us there, one of us is going to stop what we're doing and take you on tour.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
so folks can, come in, check it out, and see what you're
Sure.
doing. That's
Yes.
yeah. I feel like that would not only give people an idea of what you're doing, but maybe draw people in to be a part of what you're
Yes.
doing.
Yes.
So
Yes.
yeah.
So I'd like to say, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday mornings from about 9 to noon, my husband has a bunch of several retired men that have been helping him for almost the whole time. And that's a good time too to maybe bop in, because if he's there, he'll definitely give you a tour.
There you go. Very good. So check that all out. Ladies, I've got a couple of minutes yet here still.
Okay.
Where do you want to see the conversation go this morning? What have we not?
Our next phase.
Yes, our next phase. So here we are. The store is up and running and doing great. So our next phase is the bakery, Seeds Bakery Cafe. So we're going to really start getting that out there to the community so that we can build the bakery. And we can't do it on our own. We need the community's help and support. So we'll be putting out boxes at our local businesses so people can drop their change or checks, whatever they like.
Okay.
We'll start fundraising that way. We've got flyers that are going to be going out, like I said, tours of the building. We'd love to show you where the bakery is going to be.
Okay.
So, and we have some more things coming up in the workings right now. We don't have specific plans, but we'll be starting with that within the next week or so.
All right.
And
Yeah.
then
We can also take donations through the store,
through the
in
store,
person, or on Facebook,
Facebook,
and our website.
Yes.
Which the website is?
McGill Restoration Center.org.
And how do they
Yes.
find you on Facebook?
Well, they can find us under the McGill Restoration Center
Okay.
or the Harvest Mercantile.
Yeah, we
Either
have two
one.
Facebook pages, one for
Yeah.
each.
All right. Perfect.
We're also on Instagram.
We are on Instagram.
I'm going to have to follow along then. Very good. That's where I'd go
Nice.
mostly is Instagram. All right, ladies. As we wrap up here for this morning, you mentioned the next phase. Do you have timelines, or is this just kind of a I don't want to say fly by the seat of your pants, because that's disingenuous
Right.
to what you're doing.
Yeah.
But like, what do you have visioned and how
Yeah.
you want to see this play out?
We have really adopted more of the phrase of it in the Lord's timing. And we honestly do believe that that's how it will happen, because we really can't set a deadline, since we are really relying on the community. It really depends on their support. And we can do what we can do with what funds we have, and we'll keep moving forward. But that's why we really are relying on this big push for this fundraising this year in order to get that bakery cafe going.
Fundraising. What do you have visioned for how you approach that in the future?
Well, as I said, we'll be getting some things out into the community, some flyers,
Okay.
some opportunities for easy donations.
Okay.
We'll be probably more present on Facebook
Okay.
To get people to our website and things like that to donate. And we're going to start baking.
All
But
right.
we'll talk about that next time.
Let's save that for next
All
time.
right.
Very good, ladies. Thanks for coming out this morning. Lisa Lueras, Susan Kline with the McGill Restoration Center, our guest in studio.
The Big 1520 WHOW Clinton 92.3 FM.